Welcome back to our channel, your premier destination for the most captivating updates, deep dives, and exclusive insights from the glamorous, high-stakes world of Los Angeles. Today is a brilliant day to unravel the tangled webs of love, ambition, and betrayal that define our favorite families. Let us immediately step into the dramatic corridors of Forrester Creations and Spencer Publications. The glittering facade of the Los Angeles fashion industry has always masked the brutal, unforgiving nature of the dynasties that control it, and the events unfolding on Friday, April 24th, 2026, are poised to expose the raw nerves of everyone involved. The atmosphere is thick with an intoxicating mixture of triumph, dread, and the undeniable scent of impending retaliation. As the dust begins to settle from a week of explosive revelations and clandestine machinations, the landscape of Forrester Creations and the expanding empire of the Logan brand are irrevocably altered. At the epicenter of this seismic shift are two women standing at vastly different crossroads: Electra Forrester, who is suddenly thrust into a blinding spotlight of immense responsibility, and Katie Logan Spencer, who is marching toward a massive professional victory while carrying the heavy, suffocating weight of familial guilt and ominous intuition. The dramatic ousting of Ivy Forrester has sent shockwaves through the executive offices, culminating in a hollow, precarious victory for Electra. For weeks, the tension has been mounting as Ivy's ruthless manipulation to keep Electra and Will Spencer apart finally came to light. The revelation of the intercepted gallery letter was the catalyst for a spectacular confrontation, one that demanded immediate and decisive action from the powers that be. When Electra and Will brought the undeniable truth of Ivy's unapologetic sabotage to the Forrester team, the demand for her termination was absolute. However, the world of Forrester Creations is rarely black and white, and Ridge Forrester, ever the pragmatic patriarch, orchestrated a surprisingly diplomatic exit. Rather than a humiliating public firing, Ivy agreed to step away from the company, framing her departure as a mutual decision. This strategic retreat, conveniently aligning with the actress's real-life maternity leave, allows Ivy to save face while effectively removing her toxic presence from the immediate canvas. Yet, the vacuum left by Ivy's sudden departure is not a peaceful void. It is a terrifying abyss of expectation that Electra is now expected to fill. Ridge, perhaps overestimating his niece's readiness or simply desperate to keep the machinery of the fashion house moving, has decreed that Electra will take over the prestigious and demanding jewelry line. On the surface, this is a monumental triumph. It is the ultimate vindication, a promotion that elevates her from a pawn in her aunt's twisted games to a legitimate power player within her family's legacy company. But as the initial euphoria fades, the crushing reality of this new reality begins to set in, casting a long, intimidating shadow over her hard-won victory. The Forrester jewelry line is not merely a side project. It is a cornerstone of the empire, a division that demands relentless perfection, intricate knowledge of global supply chains, and an unwavering artistic vision. For Electra, whose experience is minimal compared to the seasoned veterans who have previously helmed the department, this promotion is akin to being thrown into the deep end of a turbulent ocean with weights tied to her ankles. The responsibilities are staggering. She is now facing a grueling schedule filled with high-stakes international business trips, the meticulous, exhausting review of every single gemstone and clasp, and endless, isolated late nights in the quiet, echoing halls of the Forrester building. The psychological toll of this sudden elevation cannot be overstated. Electra is acutely aware of the times Ivy would call her late at night, exhausted and frantic from the sheer pressure of running the line. Now, that crushing burden rests squarely on her own inexperienced shoulders. The fear of failure, the creeping imposter syndrome, and the terrifying realization that she might not be ready for this level of corporate warfare threaten to paralyze her. Furthermore, this intense professional pressure arrives at the absolute worst possible moment for her personal life. She is currently navigating a highly volatile and messy love quadrangle. She has just confessed the truth about Ivy's manipulation to Will, hoping to salvage their fractured relationship, while simultaneously wrestling with her undeniable, burgeoning attraction to R.J. Forrester. How could she possibly rebuild a broken romance or explore a new, forbidden spark when every waking moment will be consumed by the relentless demands of the jewelry line? The risk of a spectacular, public burnout is astronomically high, and the vultures within the company will undoubtedly be circling, waiting for her to make a fatal mistake. Meanwhile, across town at the sleek, modern headquarters of Spencer Publications, a different kind of storm is brewing beneath a veneer of glittering success. Katie Logan Spencer is standing on the precipice of a massive sartorial triumph. Alongside the fiercely supportive and ruthlessly ambitious Bill Spencer, she is finalizing the preparations for the next major Logan fashion event. The previous showcase was an undeniable smash hit, proving that the Logan brand could stand on its own 2 feet, separate from the Forrester behemoth. But this upcoming event is different. It is larger, bolder, and infinitely more controversial, relying heavily on the unreleased, unfinished designs of the legendary Eric Forrester. Despite the frantic, exciting energy of the fashion show preparations, Katie is haunted by a profound and unshakable sense of dread. She is a woman deeply connected to her family, and the ongoing, bitter war with her sister Brooke Logan Forrester is tearing her apart from the inside out. Brooke's fury over the use of Eric's designs has been palpable, a righteous anger that views Katie and Bill's actions as nothing short of unforgivable theft and a desecration of Eric's legacy. Katie has tried to justify her actions, clinging to the belief that Eric owes her for his broken promises regarding the launch of the Logan line. She has tried to convince herself that she is merely claiming what is rightfully hers. But in the quiet moments between the fittings and the press releases, Katie's intuition screams at her. Is this heavy, sinking feeling in her chest merely the emotional collateral damage of sibling rivalry? Or is her intuition desperately trying to warn her of a catastrophic impending doom? Katie knows Brooke better than anyone. She knows that Brooke, when pushed to the edge in defending the men she loves, is capable of ruthless retaliation. The psychological trauma of this family conflict is agonizing for Katie, who genuinely despises warfare and discord. Yet, she is actively choosing to push forward, making the heartbreaking, calculated decision that the phenomenal success of her business venture is worth the devastating cost of alienating her sister and the entire Forrester clan. She is building her empire on a foundation of broken trust, and she knows, deep down, that such structures are inherently unstable. Standing beside her, acting as an impenetrable shield against her doubts, is Bill Spencer. Bill is in his element, thriving on the conflict and the high-stakes gamble of the fashion world. He is the devil on Katie's shoulder, constantly whispering words of encouragement, validation, and unwavering confidence. When Katie's guilt threatens to consume her, Bill is there to remind her that they have done nothing wrong, that business is a battlefield, and that this is not the time to show weakness or retreat. He views the Forrester outrage not as a moral failing on their part, but as proof of their success and power. Bill's influence is intoxicating, providing Katie with the strength she needs to ignore her screaming intuition. As the weekly promotional footage reveals, the fashion show itself appears to be a dazzling, unqualified success. The runway is bathed in brilliant light, the music pulses with infectious energy, and the models strut fiercely, showcasing the controversial designs to a captivated audience of press and buyers. Standing in the background, Bill and Katie share radiant, triumphant smiles. They look like the ultimate power couple, untouchable and victorious, having successfully expanded the Logan brand into a formidable fashion powerhouse. The media is eating it up, generating the kind of massive, viral press that money simply cannot buy. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated professional glory. However, those brilliant smiles on the runway are fragile masks, hiding the terrifying reality of their situation. The success of the Logan fashion event is a direct, deliberate provocation to the Forrester family. By utilizing Eric's unfinished designs, Katie and Bill have not only humiliated the patriarch, but have essentially declared all-out war on the industry's most powerful dynasty. The Forresters are not a family that takes insults lightly, nor do they turn the other cheek when their legacy is threatened. The looming threat of Forrester retaliation hangs over the Spencer-Logan celebration like a dark, suffocating cloud. Ridge Forrester, already dealing with the internal chaos of Ivy's departure and RJ's insubordination, is fiercely protective of his father's work. Brooke, fueled by a potent mixture of betrayal and protective rage, is undoubtedly plotting her next move. The Forresters possess the resources, the industry connections, and a sheer ruthless willpower to launch a counterattack that could utterly dismantle everything Katie and Bill have built. Will they launch a massive legal injunction to halt the production of the stolen designs? Will they use their immense influence to blacklist the Logan brand from top-tier retailers and fashion publications? Or will Brooke, relying on her intimate knowledge of her sister's vulnerabilities, strike a deeply personal blow that shatters Katie's resolve? The juxtaposition of these two storylines, Electra's internal struggle within the gilded cage of Forrester Creations and Katie's external war against the Forrester Empire, paints a vivid picture of a world where ambition constantly collides with morality. Electra has achieved the position she desired, but she is entirely unprepared for the crushing weight of the crown. Her victory over Ivy may ultimately be her undoing if the pressure of the jewelry line causes her to fracture under the intense scrutiny. She is a young woman standing on a precipice, desperately trying to balance her fragile personal life with a professional burden that has broken much stronger individuals. On the other side of the battlefield, Katie has achieved the independence and success she craved, but the cost to her soul is immeasurable. She is ignoring her own deeply ingrained moral compass and her powerful intuition, allowing Bill's relentless drive to steer her directly into the path of a hurricane. The smiles she flashes for the cameras at the fashion event are temporary, fleeting moments of joy that will inevitably be washed away when the Forrester family unleashes their revenge. As the week draws to a close, the stage is perfectly set for a spectacular collision of these volatile forces. The decisions made on this fateful Friday will ripple outward, destroying relationships, forging toxic new alliances, and forever altering the balance of power in Los Angeles. Electra must find a reservoir of hidden strength to survive the overwhelming demands of her new role, or risk losing everything she has fought to reclaim. Katie must brace herself for the devastating fallout of her ambition, knowing that the sister she loves is now her most dangerous enemy. The drama is escalating to a fever pitch, promising that the coming weeks will be filled with unprecedented heartbreak, shocking betrayals, and a kind of breathtaking twist that only this world can deliver. The calm before the storm